All right,
Uh,
all right, all right.
anyway, so so I had to. So there's a couple of ways you can develop your hands. You can develop to punch quite strong, but the more strength you go to power you do for striking, what ends up happening is you start to lose sensitivity. Like you lose the accuracy, and it doesn't matter. We can be talking about strikes, or we could be talking about ballistics, like bullets. We could be talking about weapons, so like an axe, right? If you look at an axe as a big weapon, like a big punch, right? A big axe. You lose some of the things that you can do with a smaller blade, right? You lose some of that dexterity, right? That you have. I know for guns, when the bigger the bullet, you can compromise quite a bit of accuracy, right? So you often see a lot of people developing a big punch. The problem is you lose the adaptability of the strike, and you increase the chances of an injury. Okay, and in many cases, you watch the heavyweights, boxers and stuff. They almost inevitably break their hands, even through the glove.
Wow.
Like even with all the padding they have,
Uh-huh.
still they'll break their hands. Okay, so for us, when we're not wearing any padding, we have to consider these things, because breaking a knuckle takes a long time to heal, and
Uh-huh.
it rarely heals the right way again. So you want to
Sure,
be
yeah.
kind of careful of the way you're striking and punching like that. So maybe everybody mute, guys, just in case we're not getting any crosstalk. So I'll show you a couple of ways I develop my strikes so that I don't lose as much sensitivity, that I develop obviously power, because it's always nice to have, but also keeping the hands and the arms safe from too many injuries that could possibly happen. Okay, to me, strike should always be accurate. It should be super precise, and you need to develop that comfort. Like during class last week when I was training, I was having the students do some grab and escape drills, and you would see them do their drills. And then I gave them the sword I have. I have an Ishashka that I got recently, and I asked them to now defend themselves with this sword as the person grabbed them. And you see the confidence that came to the student because you have a sword. It's just so powerful, and it doesn't need any power. A little touch of the blade is all that will be necessary to completely sever half an arm. So you don't need a lot of power. It's more finesse you need with that. I asked the students after, I said, so why don't you develop that kind of attitude and finesse with your strikes? You don't need as much power as you think. You really don't, right? When the knife is sharp, it doesn't need much power to cut, right? If the strike is accurate, it doesn't need much power to hurt a person good. It doesn't need a lot. So we really want to relook at this idea of power to our strikes. We don't need as much as you might think. We need more precision. Will have a bigger effect. Okay, makes sense, guys. Makes some sense, right? So a couple of things that you should be doing if you're not already doing, because if we are going to strike without padding, we need to always consider strengthening and keeping the bones and the tendons in the hand supple. Okay. Same with the ribs. If you're going to be taking strikes, if the ribs are kind of stiff, it'll be a matter of time taking some strikes. You'll hurt your ribs for sure. So open up your hands for me, just like that, and do it like that, right? And what you want to do is first open your hands that way, like as far back as they can go, and then you want to close them, but not so tight that you make this. So you want it to be close full, and then you want to open your fingers like as wide as they can this way. It's like you stretch them. So you open your fingers, you move your fingers back as far as they can go. You close your fist without making the forearm too strong. It's got to have some tone, but it's not rock hard. It's got some tonus. So you open the fingers as wide as they can, and if you like, you can even help yourself, like stretch them. And same with this, right? And the same with this, just kind of molding the fist a little bit, right? but not here. I want to make sure this is good. And you can try it on both hands, right? So back, closed, and fingers open as wide as you can. You try it a few times. And you know you're doing this right when you can start to feel lots of things going on here, not so much, it's like right in here, right? So I close, make sure this is not too strong. Yeah, so I like to test. If I can push into the muscle, it's good. If I can't get in, it's no good. I have to be able to get into the muscles of the forearm. Open. Then I assist myself where I use the other hand to kind of open it, right? Yeah, you can even to the thumbs as well.
How often do you do this, Emmanuel?
This kind of stuff I just play with when I'm like watching TV or if I'm listening to something. I like to do this. It's there was a guy recently I listened to, and he was a therapist that worked specifically with the toes, only the toes. And he was expressing to a lot of athletes that wear cleats or that wear restrictive shoes, anything that restricts your shoes, like baseball cleats, soccer cleats. And he talked a lot about how much health and the world comes through the toes of the feet. I was amazed. And his best advice was for athletes to stretch their toes like this. And he goes, do that for 15 minutes a day. And he said he's cured people of plantar fasciitis, of Morton's neuroma, like all those foot ailments that go straight up the leg, up into the knee. Crazy. And now on that theory, I think it's safe to say we have the same thing in our fingers, right? Now, I also will use a tennis ball. I don't know if you guys have one there, but there's two ways. So the hands open, like they widen and they also contract, okay? So I'll use a tennis ball and I'm trying to squeeze it like that in my knuckles, right? And if you have one there, just try that or something. And what you're doing is, I don't know if you guys can see it in between, but there's muscles all in between my knuckles. Can you see that there? As you start to squeeze, you can see how it gaps those knuckles. I can see that there. See that gap? So what I'm doing is I'm squeezing my fingers. I'm trying to squeeze it in there. And I'm accessing all these muscles and these ligaments that are right up in here. Okay. When people bust up their hands, this is what you need to rehab. But you can see it, I'm exaggerating it now in there, right? And you just kind of get in between. Okay. And the same on the thumb. The thumb usually breaks like this way, right? So you're strengthening the thumb as well, right? So this is the squeezing parts, right? I can squeeze it like this, right? Or I could squeeze it like that, okay? Now, most people squeeze like that, like they just clench. They never think about the real power of the fist is in between here, right? And in boxing, I don't know if you've ever seen how they loop the things between the fingers, right? And that forces you to squeeze, and that's where a lot of the firmness of your fist comes from, the squeezing in between, not the squeezing of here, closing. It's from in between. So I'll use a ball as well. And now if you don't have a ball, it's also fine, like with the stick, right? Like you can do it with the stick as well, right? Where I'm squeezing in between, right? Now it's not a stick. It might be a little bit easier. It's definitely different, right? And I have at home, I've taken a stick like this, I've just cut it smaller so it like fits into my hand, and I'll use it like that, and I'll just strengthen, and I'll literally do finger at a time. I literally, or 2 fingers, thumb, and you just keep playing with this thing, right? And if you can see me, what I'm doing now, it's like almost like a stem of stick guitar. And I'm strengthening the fingers, right? And the fingers and in between are what lead to a lot of the power. So when I make a fist now, it feels quite different than when I first started it. It feels very full. In other words, it feels tight here, but it also feels tight in between here. So I got a lot of, nice compression, right? And again, when you see boxers wrap up their wrist, all that wrapping causes compression, okay? And it causes it to feel really solid. But if I'm not going to wear wraps, this is what I'm talking about, right? So I'll play with stuff like that, like a tennis ball or something a little bit smaller or something a little bit bigger, and a stick. These are very good. Not to get too heebie-jeebie, but if you use some of the crystals, like I'm trying to think right now, which is the one I have. There's like a white crystal. I'll remember the name and I'll send it to you.
Quartz?
But it's quartz, exactly. Smoke quartz, different quartz. This has an interesting energy to it. So I have a piece of quartz that's roughly this size, and I picked it up at a store, and I do this with that, and it feels different. Wood, steel, quartz, they all feel different. Even different woods and even different stones will have a different energy. But quartz specifically is very interesting. I don't know why, it just is. I can feel it. It feels very interesting the more you use it. And I just find it helps because, guys, why we make a fist? We look at the very root. We make a fist because we're scared, right? We're ready to fight. So we almost need to reprogram our head and say, I need to make a fist, not because I want to fight, because I want to train. That's it. It has nothing to do with fear. Even though people tell you, deep down inside, they have a memory of a fear, like something here. They do, no matter what. It's very hard to make a fist and not be angry, right? It's very hard to be honest with somebody and be clean about it. It's really hard, right? This is the fist seems easy. It's not. It's not easy to make. You got to really train. I make this fist, and you should feel nothing change inside you. Just a fist. Absolutely nothing changed. So this takes a little time. So by doing this, it kind of helps me a lot. Questions at all, guys? Is that okay? Questions? Remember, try to distinguish, like, I don't ever do anything just strength. It's strength and more, okay? It's not just like, okay, this is for exercising your fingers. Yes and no. It is good as strength. It's like, I love to exercise to get strong, but it's not my main purpose to exercise. It's not, strength is not my big thing. I do it to feel good. I do this because it makes me feel good. Anyway, deeper reasons than that. So that's some of the idea, right? So stick, a ball. Sometimes this is a bad example, but this is like an elastic band, right? But imagine something much smaller that you could do that with, right? As well, it's the same thing. So I'm opening, right? So now you're opening your hand. See, it's like I'm opening it. So these are different muscles than the squeezing muscles. These are opening. So you have your bicep, which pulls, your tricep, which extends. So these are the two different muscles. The hands have the same thing. There's muscles that squeeze, and then there's muscles that open. So by using kind of like elastics or something, I'm just exaggerating, I don't use this, but it's like that. I want my hand to go like that in here, okay? And you'll see that it's completely different set of muscles. Now, the first time I saw it, I couldn't believe it. But an alligator, if you know how an alligator works, the alligator, this is very powerful. But all of us here can take a very big alligator and with our hands hold his mouth closed like this. Because the alligator has very poor muscles to open. It doesn't need to open. It bites, it turns, and then it swallows. It doesn't need to have a strong opening muscle. So I couldn't believe it. The guy showed, I remember that guy, the crocodile hunter, he used to show, he goes, just with he said 3 fingers, I can hold big alligator's mouth closed. And I was like, that was kind of dangerous to me. I don't know if I would have tried it. But here's this big animal who can crush an animal in half, and the guy held the mouth closed with some tape, with some electrical tape. Like, are you kidding me? But he did it. So your fists, they have, but they're not so strong this way. So make sure that your hands are strong this way too. That they can, these muscles are strong. Okay, now you can use it usually with elastic bands. If you have elastic bands, you just go like that. Usually helps, right? So this is wonderful. Okay, for the hands. And I think after a while, if you make a fist, they'll feel different. Like right now, I'm making a fist, and just in the 5 minutes I'm talking to you, my fist feels good. Feels really, really nice. Okay. Now, the next one is your wrist. Okay. Again, the theory: we're not wearing wraps. Like your wrists. Okay, and especially if you've damaged them before, are vulnerable, and you got to be super careful. If you that it doesn't kunk, right? So you need to build the strength in your wrist. You need to have that strength in it, right? So, but at the same time, it also needs to be flexible. It has to be able to move. It can't just be strong, right? It needs to also have strength and mobility, okay, like that. So I'll show you how I develop it. So you can actually, let's get on the ground. It might be better to be on the ground for a second. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So go on the ground, right? And everybody hope can see me, right? So I'm on my fists right now, right? And I'm going to stay on my stomach, and I'm not going to do a push-up yet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend my wrist, and I'm going to pop it up. Let me give you a good angle. So I'm bending my wrist, and I'm popping it up. Now, the trick is when it bends, don't open it. When it bends, and then pop it up. So it bends, and I pop it up. It bends, and I pop it up. And what I'm doing is I'm strengthening the muscles on the inside, right? So I'm here, pop, pop. I'm not doing a push-up yet. I'm just literally pushing into the ground, and I'm popping up. And then I'm going to start on my side. So I don't know if you can see it. I'm on the hammer fist side, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll up to my elbows, and I'm going to roll my elbows down. So I'm on my side of my fist, and then I'm rolling to my fist. So I'm going through this hinge motion. Okay, good. Now I'm going to go on the back of my wrist, just like that, the back of my wrist. And I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to push into the ground on the back of my wrist. And I'm going to kind of go with I'm trying to pull them that way. So I'm trying to get my elbows straight as I can. So I'm trying to create a 90-degree bend in my wrist here. So I'm on my fists. I break them out, and I pop them back in. Pop them back in. I go to the side of my fists, and I come up, and then I go on the back of my wrist. Does that make sense, guys? How does that feel? You feel it? It's all good? Okay, now, because again, I'm going to show you some different stuff. I'm going to go on the side of my hand. So just on the edges of my hand. And I'm going to do a push-up. And I'm going to come back, right? Then I'm going to go on the heels of my hand, just here, like the heels. And I'm going to do a push-up and I'm going to come up. Then you start to go onto my wrists. And I'm going to do a push-up and I'm going to go down. And what I want you to do is try to do as many different positions of your wrist and then do a push-up, just one, but not on your knuckles, just not on your knuckles. It can be anywhere else, like even the sides, right? And down, right? So even the inside of the hand, right? Even the fingers and up, right? But just not the fist. Try a few, let me see you guys do some, just be super creative with it. There's so many to do, just not a fist. Like we do enough knuckle push-ups. Try to do other things, the edges of the hand, the fingers, 2 fingers, 3 fingers, thumb, I don't know, but not the knuckles. Yeah, you don't need to do a lot. One, then try another one. Yeah, like that, Miro. Yeah, like that. There you go. Okay, let me help you for a second. Stop for a second. Watch me, okay? Because you're involving too much of your mind. You're thinking too much, okay? So I'm gonna put, just watch me for a quick second. So I'm gonna start to move my hands on the ground, okay? I'm gonna start to move my hands all over the ground. And at some point I'm gonna stop and I have to do a push-up. I'm just gonna start to move my hands randomly. As soon as I stop, I do a push-up. I just want you to start to move your wrists on the ground, and then wherever they stop, like my hand is backwards and this hand is down, I have to do a push-up. So it's like my hand's doing this on the ground, and when I stop, if this one's in one position, the other one's in the other, doesn't matter. I have to come up in a push-up. Okay, so put both hands on the ground, put both open hands on the ground, start to move them around like a circle on the ground, and then just stop quickly and do a push-up. And the hands, and they should be in different positions. Don't make them copy each other. They can be in different positions. That's it, Meryl. Looks good. Nice, Pierre. Eric, that looks good too. Alberta, you gotta negotiate the dog too. Okay, good guys, good. Now, let me give you some context. Those things that I just showed you now, this is so good for strikes that are like, you know, different strikes, like to the neck or to the groin or under, like, you know, like you don't have to make a fist to strike. You can strike like with the edges of your hands, with the back of your hand, open hand, with the side of the hand, with the heel, right? You teaching yourself anywhere you grab puck, you can strike. Okay, yeah, it's so interesting because a punch fits really good in certain parts of the body, but not all parts. Okay, not all parts. Certain parts, you know, depending, right, where you get the egg or fingers, you know, in certain parts are better, right? So when I train like this, I really enjoy it, because tomorrow when somebody grabs you and your hands are in this position, you right away already trained yourself, because do a strike. So I do a push-up. For you, it's like a strike. So your hands are here, and you can touch, right? So try it again now, but with that idea in mind, that you're actually studying strikes with an open hand, right? Not with a closed fist, because it's still a strike, okay? Try it. Try it. Do the same thing, but try to imagine now, as your hands are in different positions, you can strike right away. Remember, any position, fingers, fingertips, back of the wrist, side of the hand, inside of the hand, outside of the hand, back of the wrist. Great, guys. Looks really good. Okay, great, guys. Good, good. Sit up for a sec. Okay, good. Just some ideas and feel. Did you guys feel that? Could you feel how you could start to develop some different ideas here, right? It's super to me interesting because I remember not too long ago, a friend of mine, I always get friends of mine trying to sneak up to me and out in the street the challenge me by surprising me. And one guy grabbed me so quickly and it whacked him in the groin so quick. He didn't expect it. It's so you have to know from any position people put you, you should know the strike that's possible from that position. And by practicing it like this, you're much more creative and much more adaptive when it comes to these situations. Okay. Now, some different ideas. Let's watch this. So I'm on my knees, right? And I'm gonna start to fall forward, right? I'm start to fall forward and I'm gonna catch myself, right? So as I fall, I catch myself. And the big thing for me is not to make any sound. So I shouldn't make a noise when I hit the ground. So my hands come and I push myself up. Just try 5 for me. Just try 5. And then I'm gonna show you what I want. So fall forward and just let your fists come to break your fall and try not to make any noise. Catch yourself like a rabbit. Like your arms should be like a rabbit. Yeah, just 5, guys. Don't do more than that. We have to do some other stuff. Okay, good enough. Now I'll make some small tweaks, okay? Some small tweaks. First, one observation. Did you notice how nobody added power here? Why would you do that? But why would you slam into the ground, right? Nobody added power. But yet you usually you hit. This is exactly, I add my weight on top of the fist, okay? Nobody adds power. You added weight on top of your fist. You had to catch your weight, okay? When you punch somebody, they're catching your weight. You're giving it to them, okay? Now, a challenge for the next one is to bring your hands as late as possible. So your hands are always going to want to come right away. I want you to wait as long as possible before you tell your hands to go. So when I'm here, like as I fall, I want my hands, I'm going to wait. And at the last second, I'm going to bring my hands. Like I'm going to see how long I can hold myself before my hands come to my rescue. So I'm falling. I feel like I want to bring them. I feel, and I'm going to wait. And you wait as long as you can. Like bring them at the last second. Try it. Wait now. As you fall, don't let the arms go right away. Wait another half second before they come. No, Alberto, more. Wait. Yeah, don't worry. Just turn your face to the side. Yeah, just in case you're late.
Are you keeping your fist solid or are you like letting it open when you hit?
No, soft, guys. Yeah. Don't hold. Never hold your fist.
I mean, are you holding your
strong,
fingers in or are
please.
you letting them open when you hit the ground? You keep it together the whole time.
I don't know. I'm just catching. I'm keeping them together. Yeah, just for sake. But yeah, for sure. Yeah. So wait, guys. Be patient. Like last second. Like don't let them come right away. So this is how we usually strike people, because we wait. They get, even though they come closer. So do you see the difference between when you're waiting? So somebody comes close to me and I'm like, I don't know, should I punch them? I don't know, should I punch them? I don't know. And all that waiting makes me anxious. It brings me anxiety. When I let my fists go when I want, I feel so good about this. They come early, so they're there early, right? But in refighting, we wait, and then our hands come panicky. So the trick is to not let people get close to you that scare you, because your hands are going to come in a panic like they did at the end. They come in a rush, okay? But when I have plenty of time and I let my hands come, I feel great. That's the difference. That's the difference. You know how many people I talk to, guys, they say, oh, I get so stressed out at work, but they show up late to work. So they didn't give themselves a chance to get prepared. Guys, you need to prepare for something. An athlete shows up early to the park. He prepares himself for the game, and he's his best athlete. Your fists need to arrive in good time. If they arrive late, they're panicked. They're not going to be the best punch you have. So make sure you're aware of spatial awareness, emotional awareness, all this stuff allows you to detect a problem further away, which allows you to make a better decision about something, right? Don't let people close to scare you. Just look at the analogy one more time. I don't want to repeat it because it's the biggest point for me. If I choose when my fists go, I'm going to let them go right away. As I'm falling, I'm going to let them go. And I feel so good. I can do this all day long and I'll never damage myself and I never have any anxiety. But if I'm waiting, I don't know, should I? Oh, fists come fast and they come hard and they don't come accurate. They come panicked. It's not a good way to punch somebody, right? Or deliver a strike. It should come because I wanted to and because I feel comfortable, not because I'm panicked. That's a big difference, okay? Do you guys see what I'm trying to get, the point I'm trying to get at? This is an important point, okay? You can choose when to punch and when not. It's your choice. It's not because it was panicked or not to punch that way, right? So something to think about, a good way of training your punches, okay? Good. Questions before I go? Or it's too quick? Okay, next one. One fist on the forearm and one like that. So you're forearm and fist, okay? And come on up. It's kind of a crooked punch, right? A crooked push up. And go down and then switch. And come up and down. And just do that a few times for me. Awesome, good. So look at the position. Okay. Very interesting position, right? Forearm is straight, feels like a push-up, right? And this should be solid, like it should be like one piece. You know, if I had a shield a long time ago and I had a sword, right? That's exactly the position. A shield and a sword. Okay, they're both connected. Didn't matter. They're not separate of each other. Still one person. Okay. Grab a stick, guys, if you have, please. Stick. Yeah, so just start to play with the stick between your wrists and your elbow, not higher than your shoulders, right? Mostly the elbows, maybe bicep a little bit, but not your shoulders and not your fingers. And what I want you to do is never lose the weight of the stick. Never let it come off you. Like it's always on your arms, right? It never bounces off. Try not to let it bounce off. And move your hands like I said, this way, it didn't matter. The arms can do different things, right? If you're good in front of you, then try to see what you can do behind you. Every once in a while, try to find a balance with the stick. No. You can see how just by turning my wrist, I can control the stick. Not moving my arm, just controlling my hand position. And you can try it with your eyes closed. You can try it with your eyes open. Yeah, check your breathing all the time, guys. Check your breathing. Great, guys. Open your eyes again. So put the stick on your elbow, right? Put the stick on your elbow and start to punch now. And the most important thing is as you punch, that the stick doesn't fly on the other side, okay? So that you're punching as fast as you can without bumping the stick on the back end. The stick should never leave your arms, okay? It should never leave your arms. You should find a way of punching very, very fast if you need, but the stick needs to always stay on your arm. And you can get different angles. There's down, there's up, there's across, there's backhand, different things, but the stick always stays grounded. The reason, guys, if there's any tension in your arm, it'll bounce the stick. If your arm stays relaxed, the stick doesn't leave. There's no way, it just doesn't leave. So it teaches you, I can punch I can punch with my fist, but my arm has to stay loose. This way the stick doesn't fly. And any punch is fine. Any punch, doesn't matter which one. Keep working, stand up. Camera setup. Yeah. Keep doing the same thing. Walk, you can walk around now, you can move around. The same idea. It's like you're striking, but your the stick has to stay down. Now, very good, guys. Good. So you notice how if speed with tension, the stick will fly. That's it. It's straight out. So it's teaching you the speed and the power that you can add to your punch without when it gets out of control. So right away, if you go out of control, the stick flies off of your arm. So it teaches you right away with how hard you can punch without out of control, right? You have to that's out of control, that's with control. Okay. It's always stuck to my arm. It's stuck. And you can do it just like I'm showing now. Look at how much speed I can muster with my hook, right? And still keep the stick on my arm. Awesome, guys. Put the stick down. Put the stick down. Now, I do this example sometimes in training, right? I ask a student to hold the stick like a cane, and then punch somebody towards the stomach area. Boom, right? And then I tell them to take the stick and put it in his hand now and punch towards the stomach. And you see right away the punch is much harder. Like it is much harder. Because like this, there's nothing grounding the fist. There's nothing grounding here. It's like I take support from the ground and I just reef it, right? Like I have more leverage, right? So the trick is when you punch, you have to leverage your legs. That's the stick is in your leg, okay? So in real, this is the stick right here. It's my leg, okay? But now I give it to you and it's like bang, and you can see how you could punch so much harder. But then that's from your leg, bang. Your leg and your strike have to come together. It's not like something tricky. It's the power of a punch comes from the legs, and your legs have to be involved in the strike. It's not just shoulder. It's not just the shoulder thing. So watch, take the stick, push down. make a few strikes forward, and then put the stick in that hand and look how much better it feels. It feels like I've got extra power in the fist, right? Now, if you have a punching bag, you can see the difference in the punching bag too, but it's much better effect on a person. Personally, okay, much better effect on a person. So the trick is to feel that stick, but even though you don't have one, you should feel like there's that stick there, right? Awesome. Okay. So I have 3 days worth of material like this. There's no shortage of material for striking for me, for you guys. But I want to touch on something that's important that for you guys to work on, and it's how you see your punch. Okay, it takes a long time for you, not me, for you to see yourself with a good punch. Okay, now I don't want you to fool yourself. Don't sit there and say to yourself, "Oh, I have a strong punch. I have a strong punch," and then just because you're going to say the words in your mind that you're going to have a strong punch. Okay, you have to believe that you have see, when I said you give a sword to somebody and they believe right away that they have more than enough power here to do the job. Okay, you don't feel the power that you have in your arms. You just don't feel it. Okay, so for you to feel the power, I mean, I got one of these little things. You guys can pick it up too. This is a solid weight. It's about 2 pounds. It's a diving weight. I used to put it to help the diver sink, right? It's a small weight. It fits in my hand really nice, okay? And what I do is I pick it up and I feel, guys, if I went into a fight with this in my hand, okay, I would never worry if I had enough power in my punch. So 2 punch steel, and then I make a punch without the weight. And I can still feel it because it's right there. It was just there. I can feel that power. I can feel how strong that is, and I deliver my strike. So you need to, in your strike training, you need to start feeling weight in your hands, feeling it, not like a dumbbell. Don't get like a dumbbell, but something with a little bit of weight, 1 pound or 2. Hold it in your hand, should fit nicely in your hand. And for you, you strike, and for you, it's like, yeah, okay, now I try it again. Yeah, there's my punch. People often ask me, what do I think about when I strike? That's all I think about. It's just that weight. Is if I feel the weight in my hand, the punch will be perfect. The punch, guys, you can give this 2 pound weight to a little boy, okay, a 5-10-year-old boy, and it will be dangerous. Okay, this is a lot of weight. Okay, in the face, 10-year-old boy, don't feel the lack of you. So it's not technique you need, it's you need to feel the weight, and you don't feel the weight. So you need to start making it happen. You need to start making it happen, right? Make it happen. And then make it happen. Make it happen. Right? I feel, sorry. I feel the weight. I still feel the weight, but I'm not holding it. I feel the weight. I still feel the weight, not holding it. Okay. This is important for me, that you start to understand that really when you want to train with a good strike, you just need to be able to put weight on top of your fist. That will start to give you a different type of confidence. Okay. It is that simple. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. It's not like weights like this. It's not that kind of stuff. No, 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 no. It's weight. 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 Does that make sense, guys? Does that concept, feel it? So I'll give you a story, and it's a true story. It's an interesting one. So about 3 years ago, I was with my family on vacation in Greece, And I love swimming, right? And this beautiful ocean in Greece. And I love snorkeling, like with snorkels, right? So I was in the water and I was floating, and I was in very shallow water. So maybe the water was exactly my fist length. So I'm floating with the mask, and I'm doing what people do on vacation. They're just lazy, right? Just floating there like a piece of log. And then I don't know what possessed me. I picked up my fist in the water and I dropped it to the sand. And when it hit the sand, it went poof. The sand went poof, like an explosion. I was like, wow. I picked up my other hand. Poof. Now I wasn't hitting the sand because I wanted to toughen up my knuckles, because the sand was soft and it just made this perfect cloud of smoke. Like it looked like an explosion every time my fist hit the sand, and I wasn't hitting hard, right? But it made an explosion. I must have did that every time I went swimming. I would just play on there and look at the fish and punch the sand. When I came back to training from my vacation, and the first person I hit looked at me and said, that was the most different punch I've ever felt. So for the first time in all my years of martial arts, so just 3 years ago, when I hit the person, I visualized, or I actually saw what it looks like inside. Like I had the visual of the sand, their muscle, and their skin just poof, right? And when I was hitting people, I just visualized that poof inside them. And the effect was incredible. Most people that I hit after that will say it was a noticeable change in my striking. It was because I now had a visual and a feeling and a look of what I was doing, okay? You need to develop the feeling and the look of what you're doing to somebody else, not just hitting the person. What are you doing? What are you doing to that person? And inside is 70% water. So you are moving them as water, like I did. And the sand is like the red blood cells and the white blood cells. You are moving them, okay? You are moving them, okay? And that is profound, okay? To me, it's profound. So everybody try this for me, right? Stay straight, breathe in, hold your breath, fill up your lungs, hold your breath. Now make 2 fists and knock the air out of yourself. Don't time it, hold your breath. Don't let it come out. Just hit yourself till you make yourself cough. Cough. So when you hit the person in the chest, you should make them cough. Because that means you touch the lungs. That means you touch the lungs. Okay? Does that make sense, guys? Yes? Maybe not so much. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
No, I felt it. Yeah, I felt it.
So 1 year ago, I posted a video on Facebook of my dog coming in front of me. You remember it? Coming in front of me. And my dog stood right in front of me, and I punched my dog in the ribs lightly. And my dog turned to me on
Bruce, come
Facebook,
here.
on thing, and went,
Bruce,
that's what my dog did.
Bruce.
That's it.
Here.
Even the dog knows how to breathe.
Hey, up, yeah. Bruce,
I'm telling you guys.
yeah.
So
Bruce, Panda.
I want you to visualize when you're I want you to visualize, if you want to improve your strikes, what is happening to the person that you're hitting? What is it that you want to do? What is good? Not just like a sound. What's happening inside? What's happening? And when you do that, your strikes will go to a whole other level. That's what happened to me. And it was just because I had that visual of the sand exploding, and I could visualize what was happening inside the person, okay? Guys, I will continue. We'll do more strikes and arm work in general. I got some more jumps for you guys, okay? Practice the next couple of days, all right?
Here's my spine.
I'll post the video soon, guys. I'll post it tonight or tomorrow, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Manny.
Thank you, Manny.
Bye, guys.
You are a good teacher. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Oh,
guys.
I know.
Enjoy, man. Enjoy, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you Wednesday. Bye,
Wednesday.
everybody.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.